Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode we are talking about Devine Ozigbo, who was a player suggested by a Patreon subscriber by the name of Nathan Stevens. Thank you very much for the prospect suggestion. As I've made it very, very clear in videos in the past, if you're a Patreon subscriber, your player requests will basically be given priority over every other player request that I get. But other than that, he does have a good profile. So if you're new to the channel, new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions will be in the description. Follow that stuff out of the way. Let's get to his profile. So first off, when it comes to Ozigbo, he had a 51.91 market share production score. He doesn't hit the All-Pro threshold, 5-time Pro Bowl threshold, but he does hit very, very close to the 3-time Pro Bowl threshold. In terms of the margin of error, I will give it to him that he hits at least the 3-time Pro Bowl area. And when you look at the averages of the position, this is the only area where there is some concern, is that the average All-Pro score is 90s, Pro Bowl and starter score in the 70 range. So Ozigbo hits at least the bottom end threshold for a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he definitely is not exactly within the range of what the averages are at the position. So you have to keep that in mind with a guy like this, is that his production was at least adequate, but not where it's not excelling, is all I'm trying to say in terms of his production profile. But he does have a great athleticism profile, and this is the most important thing that I really want to reiterate this year. All Pro Day numbers that I talk about this year are just less reliable. The main source that I use to get Pro Day numbers is NFLDraftScout.com, because what happens is you'll have a agent that tells a beat writer what their client did, and they say it on Twitter, and everybody goes, "Oh my gosh, you ran 4.3 on Twitter." And then NFL Draft Scout will update it and put 4.46. Or they will say a prospect had a 7 flat 3 cone, and then NFL Draft Scout will report that they had a 7.12 3 cone. I just find that the NFL Draft Scout over the last 3 to 5 years has been one of the more reliable sources for me in terms of getting Pro Day numbers that are maybe not the most accurate ever, but definitely are more accurate than what gets just tweeted out on Twitter. So keep that in mind. These numbers I'm getting right now are numbers that I've gotten from Twitter. Gil Brandt in particular is the main source. So if you basically look up Gil Brandt, Devine Ozigbo, you'll get to that tweet that he put out in terms of these numbers. So take it with a grain of salt. But based on his athleticism testing, he did well. Based on the Pro Day numbers that I've seen from him, from the source, of course, Gil Brandt, 89.52 in terms of explosiveness, 75.72 in terms of speed, and 83.04 in terms of flexibility for his size. He has 2 All-Pro and Pro Bowl level athleticism testing scores in terms of his explosion and his flexibility, because the main thing you need to know about the running back position is you only need one 79 or higher athleticism trait, and Ozigbo has 2 of those, and just has good all-around athleticism. If he had been invited to the Combine, I think these numbers would probably not look as good, but still decent. So I do think he should have been invited, but wasn't. But these are good numbers. These are good numbers for him. And in terms of a production comp, the main player that comes up is Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy had a 52.67 market share production score. Latavius Murray is another player who was in that range of possibilities in terms of his production data. So again, not the best data profile, but definitely good. And Eddie Lacy was someone who became a long-term starting back. So all I'm really saying about Ozigbo is that there is potential for him to become a high-quality back based on his production data. And in terms of athleticism data, the closest sort of comp that I was able to find was Spencer Ware. Very similar explosion testing, speed testing, and flexibility testing. But unlike Ware, Ozigbo has much better athleticism and production. So essentially, Ozigbo is like a souped-up Spencer Ware. He's someone that could have a similar sort of career arc to Spencer Ware based on his athleticism testing, and his production is better than what Spencer Ware's production was at LSU. So overall, when it comes to Devine Ozigbo, it's a good profile. Compared to all the other running backs in this class, because this is not the best running back class ever, he does have that sort of profile where if you want a back to have that athleticism and that production to match, if you will, if you're trying to get that holy trinity, if you will, of the production with the athleticism and at least having a decent age, which I don't really know his age, but we don't know. I mean, I don't really know it, but if you're trying to find that sort of holy trinity of those types of things, he has it. So if that's your type of back, and you have him as your top back in this class, I really have nothing to say against that. Like, if that makes any sense. So I do think he's someone that's worthy of a day 3 pick. He's even somebody that I'll even go as far as to say is worth a day 2 pick, and that's only if the athleticism data that was reported on Twitter is accurate. If it's not accurate, which I kind of doubt, I do think the numbers are skewed a little bit. I think the agents are kind of reporting the best times that they got instead of what the averages were of those times, if that makes any sense. But it's still good. It's still a good profile, and I do think he has a good chance of becoming a starter. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn@wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification bell in case you want to be reminded when another video of mine drops. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. And of course, become a super fan today by joining my Patreon channel. Well, not channel, but subscription. Thank you very much.